right, we've caught up with Trent from Max Tie Downs. We wanted to ask what is a simple way to know that you're using a ratchet strap correctly? You know, there's a lot of new people to the sport. They're used to motorcycle tie downs. Ratchet straps are a little confusing sometimes for new people. Trent, can you tell us, you know, just the operation of the ratchet strap? You know, the hooks are all different depending on what trailer you have and things like that, but just the physical operation of that ratchet strap.
Sure, no problem. We run into this all the time. So what you have here is a strap wrap, and this keeps you from having to tie a knot or tie your, what we call the remainder of a strap, flopping in the breeze, so it keeps it nice and tight to the car. So the first thing that everybody always does is when they hook everything into their trailer is that they take all of the slack out of it, and they start from there. And then that's where it all starts going wrong.
Correct.
So what happens is that we like to see at least 3 revolutions around the mandrel.
When you're done, when
you're all set and done, you should have a minimum of 3 revolutions. Okay. 3.5, 4 is even better. All right. Because what happens is you go to this point here, and then you start tightening it up. And as that car goes down and it hits bumps, it starts pulling against it. Well, it's a friction grab. So you don't really have any kind of friction around this to keep it where it's at, so it starts pulling it. And the more space it makes, the faster it pulls it, and the quicker it comes loose.
Exactly.
So what I try to tell everybody to do is that just as a good general start, come about 1 foot off your deck.
Okay.
And that's where you start running. Okay. And then tighten her up from there.
All right, so a good foot off of the deck, and it should give you enough revolutions to give a solid grab, but not too much where it gets too thick and you start.
Yeah, I mean, there's a common sense factor in there. It'll build up too much, and then it gets into the release, and of course that's just as bad as not having enough in there. You know, it'll bind it up. But everybody has a different reach or whatever, and your buggy and your straps and your pickup points are always going to be the same. You'll get it down, and
yeah,
you'll develop your own method, so to speak.
Okay.
But that is our biggest #1 reason that straps go loose.
Yeah, exactly. One other quick question. I heard you have a new adjustable wheel net, and we want to hear about that.
It's not new to Max. We just made a bigger size now.
Okay.
We've always had everything for all the stock size tires on all the buggies coming out, and with Robbie releasing the new speed and putting 35s on it, we wanted to be ahead of the curve. So this is one of our new nets for a 35. It has an adjustable front leg, and it has the ratchet in the rear, so it'll take and be a fully adjustable piece for anybody's trailer or however they're going to haul them.
So what size range will this fit?
We usually try to build in, yeah, it's a 35 and up. This is good from a 35 to a 37.
Okay.
We do custom manufacturing, so if somebody has a set of 40s, which is kind of becoming the new norm, especially down in the sand, so we will build you whatever size you need. But this is a stocking item for us now. Just call us and we'll have them on the shelf.
Okay. How about the new, what is it called, a monkey plate?
Oh, the monkey face?
Monkey
Absolutely.
face, yeah.
I got one over here in this table that we were at.
Right here, Cade, there's a little accessory for trailers.
Yeah. We bought a deck over trailer, and that has stake pockets. And stake pockets are never, ever where you need them to be for what you're hauling.
Yeah, the angle is always funky for different tie downs.
Exactly. And then one of our biggest pet peeves is, and everybody's seen it, they have a stake pocket, and they take a strap, and they hook it in the bottom of the stake pocket, and then they go across and capture something on their trailer. Well, when you do this, you stress this hook right here, and it'll snap them in too.
Wow.
So we wanted to come up with something that was really easy for everyone to do, so we call this a monkey face. And if you kind of look at it head on, you see a monkey. It's kind of lame, but you know, it's all we could come up with at the time.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Anyway, it has holes on each side, so you can strap into it, and you have 180 degrees of articulation with it. So now you can go across at an angle, so whatever load you have, wherever it's at, you can get a strap across it.
They're nice and big. Looks like you can fit.
It is. It's 1/4 inch laser cut. fully welded. It has a couple of adjustment holes in it, so depending on how deep your pocket is.
Yep.
And we went around and we measured every trailer we could get our hands on, so it's a pretty standard pocket fit for any kind of trailer that has a stake pocket. It comes with a slot that's a logistic hook, and this one here is you can put a lashing winch on it. So you could actually put a lashing winch on it if you wanted to.
Okay.
So that's what this one's for, so you can articulate your lashing winch.
All right. Well,
But we sell the heck out of them, and it's a great product, and it turns your stake pocket into a better tie down.
Yeah. What? These are about $100.
I get 70 out of these.
70.
So,
Okay.
yep.
And do you have a package for like 4 or 8 or anything like that?
You know, we don't, because everybody wants something different. We get guys that just want one, and we get guys that want 14. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Todd, tell us about the Carbon R.
So this is a concept that I've been swimming with in my head for a couple years now. I come from a road race background. I used to build race cars, Porsches, McLarens, and this was, you know, something that I've wanted to build for a long time. And my kind of interpretation of what a cool, fun, you know, race car would be like.
Yeah.
It's got one of our off-the-shelf 400 horsepower engine packages, one of our standalone ECUs, one of our new rear mount intercoolers, but I kind of designed the whole aero package around kind of what you would see on a supercar.
Okay. Keep it on the ground.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
what? You have a weight measurement on it?
we haven't
yet?
weighed the car yet. It's actually pretty light, but when we get back this week, we're gonna weigh it. We're gonna corner balance it, and then we've got a track day plan for it.
Okay. Cool. What did you do to the cab, the cockpit area?
So these are Porsche GT2 seats.
Okay.
And we've kind of changed the materials on them. It's kind of like an old school Porsche look.
Yeah.
We did the door cards, the dash, carbon dash. It's got a Motec display. Kind of very simple, but
Right.
really cool.
So it's still 4-wheel drive. Are you going to keep
Still
it
four-wheel
4-wheel
drive.
drive on the track?
We're going to kind of see how it handles. I mean, it may need the four-wheel drive to pull it out of corners.
Okay.
But we'll see. We'll see how it does.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing this thing run. All right.
Yeah, we had to reinforce the chassis,
Oh yeah.
but kind of try to keep it as simple as possible because these chassis like to flex a bunch when you win all the cage on it.
Yeah.
The cage adds a lot of structure. So
Yeah.
we did this. We have all gussets and where all the points come together. It's all gusseted. There's gussets under here to kind of stiffen the front.
Okay.
But I feel comfortable with it that it's going to be stiff enough for the road course.
Now, are you going to drive it, or do you have
Yeah.
another driver?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to drive it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also plan on using it as a somewhat daily driver in Phoenix.
Oh, no kidding.
So kind of actually what inspired the whole car was this is something I developed for a Porsche sequential shifter back in like 2010. And it was a prototype, and it's been sitting in my toolbox forever, and I saw it one day and I'm like, man, we need to build a road car out of an X3. So that's kind of what inspired it, was that right
So it
there.
started at the shift knob.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, an early prototype.
Wow, cool. All right, well, thank you, Tom.
Yeah, man, you're welcome.
Yeah. All right, we ran into the Fox booth. This is Justin. He's going to explain the new shock oil cooler. It's similar to an oil cooler for your engine, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it's not a replacement reservoir. It's an actual addition cooler.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So this is our new ECS2, the external cooling system. So it is a recirculating reservoir that you can add on to any Fox shock. As you mentioned, it bolts on either to a piggyback or remote reservoir, plugs right in any Fox shock with a smart shocks, dynamics, or just a standard DSC. Actually pulls the warm oil out, recirculates it through, and then feeds it back into the reservoir. And during our testing with our racers, we've noticed up to a 70-degree difference over a stock Fox shock.
There's additional oil capacity, I would
Correct.
assume. What's the additional oil capacity?
That is a great question. I do not know
A lot?
yes, it definitely, having this external reservoir There is additional oil capacity. I don't know the exact facts and figures on top of it, but yeah.
I mean, we'll ask somebody, but it looks like probably 20% more oil.
Definitely. Yeah, it sounds about right. I think that's fair to say.
What models do you have it for?
So we do it. It is. We have it either for a piggyback shock or a shock similar to the Can-Am Maverick with a remote reservoir. So either one fits most Fox models out there in 2.5 or 3-inch diameter shocks.
Okay, so the big cars, the Razors and X3s.
Razors, X3s, Talons, KRXs, all the most popular sport models out there. Yeah.
Gotcha. So you do have it for the Talon.
Yeah. It's either if your shocks we have a kit either if it came with a piggyback shock stock or if it came with a remote reservoir stock. So retail on this is $1,100 for a piggyback shock or $1,300 for a remote reservoir shock. For a pair for the rear plus labor. So yeah.
And it's a thing where you send in your shocks?
Yeah. So we're working. We have our service center in Baxter, Minnesota, or working with the team at Shock Therapy that you can either drop your car off with them or send your shocks in to have it installed.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. No worries.
All right. We've caught up with Justin Smith from Shock Therapy. Justin, tell us about, you have new Pro R shock forks, limit straps, all that stuff. Why don't you tell us what you got?
We are going head first into all the Pro R products at Shock Therapy, trying to be first with the best products on the market as always, and let's look at a couple of those right now. Up in the front, on the bottom of the shock, we've got our billet shock forks, which are something that is known to be a weak spot in the Pro R. We've cured with that fork. We've also got dual rate spring kits, as always, in all our Shock Therapy products and shock packages. We've got spring kits for these, as well as internal shock valving and shock changes to make the ride quality much better and perfect for your style of driving. We've got extended reservoir caps that kind of give you a good look and match the rest of the products on the car. We've also got sway bar links, billet sway bar links, both front and rear for the Pro R, and as always, limit straps for the Pro R. Limit straps are super important on this vehicle because of the extended weight and 35-inch tires that are coming on them in the future. A limit strap is a solid choice to save the parts and keep them on there as long as possible. We've got a sneak peek at a new product that's coming out in the next few months, which is adjustable bump steer delete tie rods. So you can knock the bump steer out of the Pro R. This one specifically had about 3/4 of an inch of bump in it, and with our new kit, knocked that down to 1/8 of an inch, which is spot on for all desert racing. In the back of the vehicle, you can see the front part of our toe link, but in the rear, you can see even more detail on that, where we've got our billet 4340 clevis on the end of that toe link, and keeps this adjustment from changing while you're driving, which is nasty when the toe changes on the factory toe link, and that is gone with this product. Also, sneak peek, we have high clearance radius rods coming out for the Pro R. These are a massive 1.5-inch diameter tube, 120 wall tubing with 7/8 rod ends, biggest on the market, and billet extensions with 7/8 uniballs. Largest components, last the longest of anything made to keep your Pro R solid for as long as you own it.
So do these parts fit the Turbo R also?
Yes, everything that we've talked about also fits the Turbo R. I mean, we kind of cheat and say Pro R all the time, but it does fit both. We do have different part numbers for them because certain things are different size, but all Pro components are available.
All right. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Have a good show.
Yeah.